everybody. I'm going to talk about one of my favorite perfumes, Chanel Cristalle Eau de Parfum. One of my favorite lines, I guess I could say, because I like every perfume in this line. And I'm talking about this perfume today because I love it, but also a few of the perfumes in the Cristalle line are being relaunched, and one of them is this one, Cristalle Eau de Parfum, and the other is Cristalle Eau Verte, both of which I do have, and I think they're both just amazing. But they're being relaunched, and they have new packaging, and they also may be tweaked and reformulated a bit. So because of its very recent launch into the world, it kind of inspired me to talk about this perfume. And I have been meaning to do a video dedicated to Cristalle Eau de Parfum, but it gave me even more reason to do so. So I think I'm going to start this video by talking just for a minute about the packaging. And I hate it when reviewers spend time on the packaging, but for me it's like personal. Like, that's how much I love this packaging. I just think it's I'm such a sucker for a rectangular bottle of perfume. And especially this size, it's just like it fits in your hand so nicely. It's so tactile. Oh, by the way, these are two bottles, and one of they're different. I think they come from different periods of time, or something about them has made them different. The one on the left, the juice is a little bit darker than the one on the right. And so I did get the secondhand, and this is also secondhand too. I'm always looking for a good deal on Cristalle. I'm just like watching like a hawk to see if anybody is giving it up for a nice price, because I don't think I'm willing to spend like $200+ on some of the bottles of this perfume are going for that on eBay and other websites. But back to the bottle design, I just think it's very elegant, and there's something that's very like Japanese about the design of this bottle, and the scent, the whole vibe of this perfume. There's a very like Japanese aesthetic to it, and I think it's because it's a streamlined design, it's minimalistic, and the black on the cap is like, it reminds me of lacquer, like Japanese black lacquer, and then it's trimmed in this kind of like silver paint along the edges. And that is also something that is seen in Japanese artwork, and kimonos have a detail on it like that, just a very subtle flash of like glittery gold or silver metallic. And pottery, they have it too, and other kinds of handicrafts and artwork that you can find in Japan. It's just, I love that. And the smell as well is, it has a Japanese kind of sensibility to it, and I am going to get into that right now because I'm going to talk about how they smell. I've already spritzed them on blotting papers, and I can tell you that right off the bat, the bottle on the left with the darker juice, unsurprisingly, it smells more, the galbanum in it is much more cigarette-like, and galbanum can be that way. It can give off the suggestion of cigarettes, just like saffron can give the suggestion of leather. Galbanum can come across like a cigarette, and I really like that. When galbanum behaves that way, you can experience that in other perfumes, like Cabochard has that, and this perfume by Francesca Del Oro, it's called Francine. that one is very much that type of galbanum. So it's very dry, cigarette-like galbanum. The bottle on the right, the galbanum is different to me. It's just a little bit of a cigarette type of galbanum, but more of the, when you're working with perfume materials, there's aroma chemicals that are galbanum aroma chemicals, but they have a kind of green fruitiness to them, and usually it's like a pineapple fruitiness, and I'm getting that in the bottle on the right with the lighter juice, which I believe it was either a bottle that had been released very recently or a very well preserved bottle from way in the past. But it smells very much more of like a fresh, light, airy, fruity kind of smell compared to the bottle on the left. The bottle on the left, to me, I don't find it to be fruity. To me, it's like savory, crushed herbs and grass with that cigarette galbanum. And the one on the right, it's like you're leaning down and you're sniffing the peach skin at a grocery store, or like the melon skin. It doesn't smell fruity, and you're not tasting it, but you can smell the aroma profile of that fruit, and I'm getting that in the one on the right. Is it more peachy or more melony? I think it's probably a little bit more peachy, or sorry, melony to me. There's also mandarin in Cristalle Eau de Parfum, and I'm not getting that in either of these. The Cristalle Eau de Parfum is also, I would say that it very much is that kind of retro style where it smells like champagne. It has a champagne quality to it. I don't know what is exactly responsible for that, but you can pick that up in a lot of these perfumes that are from like, pre-2000, and usually they're from like the 70s. It has this green, kind of herbal and grassy champagne quality. Maybe it's coming from the peach and the fruits, but I'm not too sure. But I think you know what I'm talking about when I say that. That's what it's always evoked to me, this kind of DNA. And I think that is part of what makes this such a understated and classy, elegant perfume. That fizzy champagne in the background that never goes away. I think it adds so much sophistication to this perfume, but it doesn't smell stuffy to me either. I think some people out there might smell this and find it to be stuffy, but I think you just need to be kind of open-minded, honestly. Just because it smells like a profile that you don't really see much these days doesn't mean that you should immediately jump to, oh, this is a stuffy perfume. It's really, really not. It's very fresh and green and light and outdoorsy. And the way I described it before, these perfumes retain that scent throughout its life. So the one on the left is very dry and savory and herbal and cigarette-like all throughout its wearing, and the one on the right is fresh, lightly fruity, kind of gauzy and green and grassy through the duration of its wear too. They don't transform very much when I wear them, and I find them to be good for lasting. I usually get at least 7 or so hours out of this perfume with, I apply it, I do a very conservative amount of sprays with this perfume, because I do feel like that is part of the charm for Cristalle, is you want it to be like a subtle, you want it to be subtle. You don't want it to be loud. This perfume shines best when it's subtle. even though it's a light profile, and you might think, oh, okay, it's light, I need to really douse myself in it to have it, be noticed. You really don't want to do that. You want it to be a subtle, like the subtlest whiff that you give off of your skin or your clothing that another person can smell, and a very light trail, if at all. That's how you want to have this perfume. It's a whole kind of, this is a perfume that is a vibe in itself, and it's best to just be like, respect that when you're wearing it. Yeah, they're both really nice, but if you do want maybe a more of a serious and stern version, I would go for the bottle on the left. Or if you see a bottle online and it has more of that ambery color to it, you're probably going to get that type of profile. Whereas if you get a bottle like this one here, where it's clear, no, clear isn't the right word, but lighter, more of like a light yellow green, you're probably going to get more of a fruitier batch of Cristalle. That's how you're going to experience it, a fruitier and fresher type of smell. And if I compare the way this smells to the eau de toilette, I think it's so similar, to the point where I don't know if you would need unless you're a collector of this line, I don't think you would need the eau de toilette. I think that these smell very similar to that, but maybe just a little bit fruitier in general, a little bit deeper. I'm not sure though if someone smelled you wearing, if they smelled it off, the eau de parfum off of one person and then the eau de toilette off of somebody else. I don't know if they could really tell the difference, honestly. But who knows? I mean, I might get a bottle of the eau de toilette if I can find it for a decent price online. But, instead of doing that, I might actually go and buy another bottle of the perfume called Quartz from Molyneux. That is sort of like a dupe for Cristalle, eau de toilette, and eau de parfum. It's very good. I used to have it, but I sold it, and now I want it back in my life, so I'll probably do that. Yeah, and what else is there to say about this perfume? I feel like I'm missing something that was really important to mention, but I can't remember it right now. What was it? Shit, I can't remember what it was. Yeah, so excellent perfume. I think it's so delicious and sophisticated. Like I said before, it's really nice, and if you have not tried it, go out and try it. Oh, I remembered. Sometimes people compare this perfume to Chanel number 19 because they are both, greener Chanel perfumes. But I don't feel like they are very comparable, because Chanel number 19 to me is much more about the iris. It's more powdery and just a little bit more like sharp and stabbing, and not in a bad way, but the Cristalle is a lot more gentle to me. It's a lot more gentle, light, and less of a statement in the way Chanel number 19 can be a bit of a statement, and a bit more powerful when you smell it on somebody. I much prefer Cristalle a whole lot over Chanel number 19. I think it's a lot more pleasant, more golden, more buttery, just more savory. It's so addicting. This is such an addicting perfume for me, and I really go crazy for it. I think I covered everything for this fragrance. If you have any questions for me or any thoughts of your own, I'd love to hear what you think and have to say. I'm down to always talk about Chanel Cristalle. If I ever do try the new versions of this perfume, as well as the Cristalle Overt, I will be sure to discuss that here on this channel in the future. And I think that is in the very near future. I think it's officially launching in the United States within this week, even. So, yes, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful for you, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.